I don't normally have some tasks that lately I have a little bit more of. So my wife is like, she does everything. I mean, like everything. She does, and when I mean everything, like everything in our house that you could imagine, and then she's got like a side business, then she's got like a main business, and a lot of people don't know too. She was like a teacher for a long time, and they found out at our kids' school that she was a teacher, and the Spanish teacher quit, resigned, left, whatever, with like 5 weeks to go in the school year. And so they're like, hey, can you come and fill in and teach Spanish for the last 5 weeks? And it's one of those situations where you feel like you can't say no. Like, are you going to say no, and then the administration's like, I don't think I like you anymore, and I don't like your kids anymore? Like, it's one of those, you feel that pressure, right? And so we're like, it's just 5 weeks, we'll do it. And so she's doing all of these other things, and so that means that there's some things that I don't normally do that I'm like, let me try to be a good husband and a good dad. And I'll try to pick up the slack in some spaces that I need to. And so there's more of the, hey, let me pick up the snacks, or let me do this, or make sure things are ready after school as much as possible. I work from home, so my schedule's a little more flexible, so I can do that. And so there's times now where I'll be in the minivan, dad life, and I'm driving the minivan, and I'm doing the car pickup and doing the thing, and I'm sitting there for like 5 hours before school lets out, because, that's how long car line is. And so you do that, and you do the whole process, and then the kids get in the car. And we have 4. We do. We have 4. And they get in the car, they file in, and the first thing that happens is this. I don't know if your kids are like this. What snacks do we have? When we get home, can I do this? When I get home, can I do this? Remember when yesterday you said we're going to do it? And I, like, the first couple days, I'm like, I'm trying to do my best, and I'm listening. I'm trying to be ready and ahead, all of those things. Like day 3, day 4 gets in, and I am just, I have a superpower that I have like fully just gone with. And I don't know if you have this superpower, but my superpower is this. I will sit in the front seat, and I will tune you out. I hear nothing. You can say whatever you want, and I hear nothing. You can demand whatever you want. I literally don't even know you're there. And I will keep driving, and I'll just say whatever, and we get home, and they're like, well, what is going on? Now, they're not far from me. I could look back and reach out and touch them. Like, they're right there. They're close. They're nearby. I haven't left them. I just wasn't listening. Anybody else feel like that before? Anybody ever feel like God is that way with you before? That's so dramatic. Last week, the past couple of weeks, we looked at Moses. And we're looking at this man. He's got a past. He's got insecurity. He's got all the excuses in the world. And yet God calls him. God speaks to him. And I pray that was encouraging for you. I pray that was life-giving for you, that brought hope to you. But here's the thing is, you can be like, hey, God is not distant. He's right here with me. He's really close. God's got a purpose for me. And yet then the reality sets in of going, wait, God's not distant. God has a plan for me, but yet it seems like, wait a minute. If God hears me, why isn't he responding? Because you've prayed and nothing changed. You've asked God to show up and it didn't happen the way that you hoped. And at some point the question shifts from, is God there, to, is God even listening? Has he tuned me out? Like, my kids, I'm going to pick them up from school. I'm going to take them where they need to go. I have the purpose of where they need to go. But am I listening to what they have to say? And we think God, sometimes we're sitting in the back of the minivan and God's taking us where he wants us to go, but he's not listening to us. So God speaks to Moses in Exodus 3, calls him, sends him, and promises to deliver his people. In Exodus 3:10, he says, so now go, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. And for the first time in a long time, there's hope. Imagine being Moses. God speaks to you. directly. He tells you he's about to move. So naturally, God speaks, says, I'm about to move. Your expectation is, I think he's going to move. And I think he's going to move now. Because if God's called me, it must mean that he's going to do it immediately. You expect breakthrough. You expect change. You expect things to get better. And that's where Moses is in Exodus chapter 3, but let's skip forward to 5. Exodus chapter 5, verse 1 and 2. This is afterward, Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Last time we left off, there was no Aaron in the picture. Why is Aaron here? Why is Aaron involved in this at all? Remember, God speaks to Moses in the bush, and Moses is going, I can't go back because these people won't believe me. They won't believe that you sent me. They won't trust me because they know what I've done. Remember when I killed the man and buried him in the sand? They won't trust me because of what I've done. And also, God, they're not going to listen to me because even though I was educated in the Pharaoh's house, I can't speak clearly. I can't communicate, God. I can't do that. And so one by one, God takes away all of the excuses that Moses has and says, I'm still sending you. And one of the ways that he gets rid of the excuse is said, hey, your brother Aaron, I'm going to send him with you, and he's going to speak for you. He'll be your spokesperson. He is your White House correspondent, if you will. Like he's not going to come up with the policy, but he's going to say whatever needs to be said. And so that's why Aaron is here. And so they both go in and they say, this is what the Lord of the God of Israel says. Let my people go so that they may hold a festival to me in the wilderness. Now catch this. If you ever study anything about the art of negotiating, this is the worst way to negotiate. Because remember, he was supposed to go in and his people are supposed to leave and go to the land flowing with milk and honey. But Moses goes in and the first request was what? Hey, let my people go. See, when we hear let my people go, we immediately think, oh, he's talking about going to the land of milk and honey. No, that's not what he's saying. The first request was kind of like low-level hanging fruit of going, hey, we just want to go out, have a little festival, our own little Coachella out in the desert for God. Like, we want to do that, and then we'll come back. That's what he's asking. He's asking just for, can we have a few days in the wilderness, worship the Lord, and then come back? Terrible negotiating, right? You always, if you want to pay 100, you offer 50. That's not what he does. Let my people go so that they may hold a festival to me in the wilderness. Pharaoh said, who is the Lord that I should obey him and let Israel go? I don't know the Lord, and I will not let Israel go. Pharaoh is going, I am the Lord of these people. I am the king of these people. And you want me to let them go out to the wilderness and worship some other guy that they think is better? This would be like you going into your boss tomorrow and be like, hey, I need a few weekends or a few weeks off from work for you because the guy down the hallway, he's a better boss. And he's got a really cool project. And I'm just going to go work on this really cool project with this way better boss for just a little bit, and then I'll come back to you. Your boss would be like very insulted, very angry, and was probably not going to let you go. And that's exactly what happened with Pharaoh. He's like, I don't know who this is. I don't know why you think I'm going to say yes, but it's not happening. I will not let Israel go. And so right there, everything stalls. God spoke, Moses obeyed, and nothing changed. Except it did. But it got worse. Exodus 5:6. That same day, Pharaoh gave this order. Now, just a leadership tip. If somebody comes to you with insulting news, maybe bad news, maybe something tough, something difficult, usually it may be a good idea to just wait a minute before you make any major life decisions. Pharaoh's not doing that. Pharaoh is angry, he is mad, and he is making a quick decision, and he's like, I'm not having any of this. And so he gave the order to the slave drivers and overseers in charge of the people. You are no longer to supply the people with straw for making bricks. Let them go and gather their own straw. but require them to make the same number of bricks as before. Don't reduce the quota. They're lazy. That's why they're crying out. Your boss is probably saying the same thing. Hey, I know we just let the guy go that was doing half of the work, and we're going to give you all of their work, but we're not going to give you a raise. And by the way, we're moving to a new computer system that you don't know how to use. Like, you've experienced this before. This is that on a whole nother level of going, yeah, you've been making bricks, you've been doing this, but here's the thing. You got to still do all of what you were doing, but we're going to resource you less. Not going to end well. Don't reduce the quota. They're lazy. That's why they're crying out. Let us go and sacrifice to our God. Make the work harder for the people so they keep working and pay no attention to lies. So now they're working harder with less, under more pressure, and life got harder. Anybody have that happen before? You stepped out, you trusted God, and instead of things getting better, it seems like they got more complicated. They got worse. We'll skip forward to verse 20. And so as you can imagine, with these new rules in place, they can't keep up. They cannot keep up. They cannot make the bricks. They can't hit the quotas that they were supposed to. They cannot keep up. And because of Pharaoh being the guy that he is, he's like, hey, just beat him. And so they can't keep up. They get more beatings. Things just get worse and worse and worse. And so then the Israelites, they kind of go, you know what, Moses, Aaron, not sure that worked really well. So they send in some other leaders that they have. Maybe if we send in our other leaders, not Moses and Aaron, to Pharaoh, maybe they can smooth some things out. And so they go have a meeting with Pharaoh, and it does not go well either. And it says, when they left Pharaoh, talking about these other leaders, they found Moses and Aaron waiting to meet them. And they said, may the Lord look on you and judge you. You've made us obnoxious to Pharaoh and his officials and have put a sword in their hand to kill us. In other words, this is your fault. And so now Moses has Pharaoh resisting, the people blaming him. The situation is just getting worse. Verse 22, Moses returned to the Lord and said, why, Lord, have you brought trouble on this people? Is this why you sent me? Ever since I went to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has brought trouble on this people, and you've not rescued your people at all. That's frustration. That's confusion. That's disappointment. God, you told me to do it, and I did it. And nothing's better. In fact, it's worse. And so the natural conclusion is God must not be responding, or he must not care. But what Moses doesn't see is this isn't the end. He's in that moment, and it feels horrible, but it's not the end. And so chapter 6, verse 1 says, then the Lord said to Moses, now you will see what I will do to Pharaoh. Because of my mighty hand, he will let them go. Because of my mighty hand, he will drive them not to go to Coachella in the desert, not for a festival in the wilderness. Because of my mighty hand, he will drive them out of his country. So God doesn't give him no, I really wasn't listening. God doesn't give him Moses, hey, you and the Israelites just need to try harder. If you keep up with the quota, Pharaoh will be nice and let you go. He doesn't give them that. He says, now you'll see. You haven't seen it yet, but now you will see. See, God wasn't ignoring Moses or the Israelites. He was setting the stage. Because if you keep reading Exodus 7 through 12, that's when you go, hey, now all of the plagues are coming in. And then you read to Exodus chapter 14, and now you see the parting of the Red Sea and the Israelites going from being enslaved to a free nation. God wasn't inactive. He was building something bigger than what Moses could imagine. Moses is feeling disappointed because he can't have a few days in the wilderness and things are going bad, and God is going, I needed things to get to this level of disappointment. I needed Pharaoh to get to this level of anger. not just so that he would let you go, but that he would send you out. Because remember, when they finally left, they were given all kinds of stuff, like, please, leave quickly, and here, take our stuff with you. Delayed doesn't mean ignored, which means some of us are in Exodus chapter 5 right now. You've prayed, you stepped out, you trusted God, and things did not get better. They got harder. God, why didn't you fix this? Why didn't you work that out? Why am I still dealing with this? Why haven't you healed them? Why haven't you healed me? Why haven't you done that? God, why does it feel like you're not responding? But if you're judging God based on a moment in your story, which is just a brief moment in his story, you're not going to have the right perspective. Right now it feels awful. Right now it feels like he's ignoring, but the story's not done yet. Isaiah 55, verse 8, it says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Some of us, there's a phrase that we use sometimes. It's like, hey, that guy's playing chess and we're playing checkers. And that's kind of how it is with God. Like, oh, God, this seems so simple. If I would just make this one little move here, then I could keep moving forward. And God's like, we're not even playing the same game. Like, you don't understand. I'm setting things up. I'm rearranging things. I'm preparing you. I'm preparing other things. And God doesn't just answer prayers. He accomplishes purposes. And sometimes his purpose requires a process. And sometimes that process includes pain. It includes waiting. If there was ever a moment that looked like God wasn't responding, it was the cross. Like, you think God wasn't hearing you. Jesus cries out, Matthew 27:46, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And yet what looked like silence was actually salvation being accomplished. And so maybe the question isn't, is God listening? Maybe the question is, will I trust him while I'm still waiting? God said, now you will see. And what felt like delay was preparation. What feels like silence in your life or even added pain might be the space where God is doing his deepest work in you and around you. And I think as believers, it's important for us that we have a kingdom perspective. And what do I mean by that? Well, this is kind of what I mean by that. We pray and we ask, God, your kingdom come, your will be done. What does that mean? That means God's in control, that I'm not the king in the kingdom, he is the king in the kingdom. And so everything in my life is all about worshiping the king. Everything in my life is about doing everything that the king asks me to do. Everything in my life also is in recognition that everything that I have is from the king. And so I have this perspective of going, I serve a king. I bow to a king. I worship a king, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. It is Jesus. That is who I worship. I follow him. And so everything in my life is all about him and others knowing him. That's my purpose. That's what I'm seeking to do. And so I have to look at everything with that perspective. So many times it's easy to feel like, oh, God's not listening to me. God's ignoring me. God's not giving me what I want, because many times what we're asking for has nothing to do with God's kingdom. Or sometimes we feel like the pain that is coming, man, God, if you're not doing this, man, then none of it's worth it. And yet God is going, that pain that you are enduring, Yes, it's tough for you. But as a part of what I'm doing all around you, it has a purpose. And so here's the tension that we live in. The tension that we live in is this: I serve a king, and I am his servant. And if he provides nothing else for me for the rest of my life other than my salvation and his word, that's enough. Because where does my joy come from? Jesus. Where does my hope come from? It's Jesus. If I learn from the Apostle Paul and I can endure all kinds of troubles and sorrows and anything else, why? Because I am more than a conqueror. Why? Because I can do all things through Christ. I can make it through anything. I can get through anything because of Christ. And so I live in this space where I serve the King and I don't need anything else but the King. And if I get okay with that, that's amazing. And yet I also live in the same tension of this, of going, but I have a good Father. I have a good Father that loves me, that cares for me. I have a good Father that also, the Old Testament would say, he owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, which is just another way of saying everything under the sun he owns. And so I serve a Father, I serve a God who I can go, wait a minute, who is the one that could provide all of the emotional needs that I ever need? Jesus. Who's the one that could provide all of the financial needs that I could ever need? Jesus. Who is the one that could give all the physical healing that I could ever need? Jesus. And so I have to live in this tension of going, I submit in humility and meekness. I will live in his kingdom, for his kingdom, and if he provides none of the answers to the things that I want or ask for or anything else that I think I need, even if he doesn't, I'm okay with it because he is more than enough. I live in that space and go, yet at the same time, I know you can do more. I know you can provide more. I know by faith that you can heal more. You can do all of these things. And so I'm going to ask you to do them. I'm going to live by faith, expecting you that you will do them. But at the same time, my faith will not be destroyed. My faith will not be rocked if you say wait or if you say no. Because my life is not mine, it is yours. I'll give you a real world example of it. And I've said this a little bit before, and I completely butchered it. And so I'm going to try again, and we'll see if this goes well. And let me also preface this by saying, I don't do this in every area of my life all the time. This is just me getting to brag on and be prideful and arrogant in one way. Okay, so let's just preface it with that. You know how I am. I already confessed how I am with the car, right? I'm ignoring my kids. It's not good, right? But in this one situation, so here's the thing. I believe by faith so clearly. We prayed, we asked God, we heard from God, we asked other believers, we heard from other believers, we asked friends and family and former coworkers and things like that before we planted a church. Is this what God wants? Is this where God wants us? And we felt like the Lord made it very clear, this is where we're supposed to plant a church. And this is the type of church we're supposed to be. Hey, we're going to keep things simple because JD, you're simple and that's all you can handle. We're going to do, this is what we're going to do. This is where we're going to do it. And so we believe God called us here to try to reach the people that live in the Dr. Phillips, Lake Buena Vista, kind of Williamsburg area. All right. No doubt. That's what we feel like. And God has provided an amazing place for us when we didn't think that we would even get a place to meet, because we kept getting told no a lot of times. We got a school that we could meet in, and they open it up for us, and we come in, and we get to have church here. And there's some great things about that, but there's some tough things about that. Because let's be real, your pastor does not like to do manual labor before getting up and preaching. He sweats a little bit. He forgets half of what he's supposed to preach about, all kinds of things. And then at the same time, I've always got something in my head that's going, you've got about 5 minutes left, because if not, we're not going to be able to tear down and get out of here in time. Like, it's not going to be good. We've got to do that. No, nope, you can't go greet those people because you need them to get in the parking lot and go home, or you're going to get the gate locked on. Like, there's things to that because it's not our place and all that. So here's why I say all that. God called us here. We have no doubt about that. I have to get in my head and I have to get in my space to go, okay, God, if you've called us here, you've provided this place for us to be in now. God, if you never, ever give us another place other than this elementary school ever, God, it's enough. And God, I have to submit that it's your plan. May not have been my plan, but God, it's your plan, and you have a purpose in it, and you have a reason in it, and it's your kingdom that I'm here to serve. And so I have to be willing to go, God, if you never do anything else, that's okay. And God, I'm not going to go out, you know what, land would be cheaper if we went to Polk County. Oh, yeah. God didn't call us to reach people in Polk County. God didn't call us to reach people in Tampa or Miami. Like, God called us here. And we're trying to reach the people that we're going to Little League with and we work with. And all, like, that's what we believe very firmly. And so, God, if you never provide another way out, then, God, we're okay with it. And we'll sweat and we'll tear stuff down and we'll do all of the things. And we'll be okay with it. And in humility, we'll say, yes, okay, whatever. So I have to do that. And yet, at the same time, I also serve a God that I'm going, but God, I know you can provide a place where we can be in more than just 6 hours a week. That we could open up on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, whatever it may be. Like, we can do ministry in the place longer. We can provide classes, or we can provide other things. Like, we run the FCA at Lake Buena Vista High School. Kids could literally, like, we could provide a place where they could walk to and go after school. Like, there's other things that we could do, God, if you provide. God, I believe that you care about my back. And it'd be okay if I sat on a cushion and not on this. God, I believe that you want me to be a little bit more focused on a Sunday. And so, God, all right, I believe you can provide a place where we don't do the setup and we don't do the teardown and we don't do those things. And so at the same time that I go, God, this is enough and it's amazing that you've even provided this, I also know, God, you could easily, with just a breath, with just a whisper, you could provide everything that we need. I have to live in that tension. So what does that look like? Well, that looks like, okay, I've got to be grateful for what God has given me, grateful for what he's provided for me. And yet at the same time, if I truly believe that God could provide something more, if I truly have faith that he could do some major miracles in the sense of getting a building and things like that, then I need to prepare. I need to prepare. Like, God, do I really believe you could provide? Because it seems like everybody wants to say no to selling or leasing to a church. They don't want a church near them. This is great retail space. We're next to Disney. Nobody wants a church there. Okay, but I'm still going to pray. I'm still going to pray. And so by God's grace, man, we've been told no by a lot of people. And by God's grace, recently we've had some conversations with people where a place that we were told no by the third, fourth, fifth, sixth rung people multiple times on. God set up a meeting where the owner was like, no, I'll lease it to you. Okay, God, you're opening doors. That's amazing. But here's where it keeps going. You go, okay, well, that's great. God, you've done that. But here's where faith kicks in. I'm going, God, I'm okay if you don't. But God, if you provide, am I prepared? And I go, God, for us to do this, financially, you're going to have to do some stuff that we can't do. Like, we just can't. We can't handle it. And so I can sit there and say that I have faith, and I could say that I believe, but if I do nothing about it but pray, am I prepared if God were to move? And so to give you just a practical thing of, okay, well, what does that mean? So, like, for me, that means, you know what? We don't have all the money. We don't know where it'll come from. By faith, I believe that God will provide. By faith, I believe God will keep opening doors because he's done that. So what does that mean? You know what? I'm going to get the architect. We're going to do the drawings. We're going to get prepared. Like we're going to take the steps as if God would provide. That's just one simple thing. And that's easy, right? That's easy. What about with our kids? God, do I truly believe that you have a plan for my kids? God, do I truly believe that you have a purpose for my kids? God, do I truly believe that you want to have a relationship with my kids? Then as a parent, what am I doing now that I am preparing my life and I'm preparing their life so that if God were to move, that they would be prepared and ready to answer what God called? If God answered the prayers that you are asking for right now, would you be prepared to walk in it? Like I'm asking God, God, would you fix this relationship? God, would you fix this with my family member? But have you reached out? Have you sent the text? Like, God, I believe that you can fix this relationship. Yeah, but you still won't talk to them. God, I believe that you could really use me at my workplace. Yeah, but you're stubborn and you won't learn any of the new systems. And so everybody's looking at you going like, you can't keep up. Like if God answered your prayers, would you be prepared? Would you be prepared to lead the people that he put under you? Are you prepared to lead the family that he's given you? If we're to go out this afternoon and go to Sand Lake and be stuck in the middle of the lake in a little boat, no oars. I got a little pole that's sticking out here, and I got some fabric here. God, I need you to move. God, I need you to move. God, I need you to move. Wind, I need you to, wind, come on, wind, would you just take this boat? Wind, would you just take this boat? And you ask the boat to move. You ask the wind to take the boat. Well, the wind's not going to take the boat anywhere until you do what? Put up a sail. Right? You're not making the boat move, but you're preparing the boat for when the wind comes that you can go. And many times I think where we are is we're not preparing our lives so that God can take us where we need to go. And every single one of us, we probably have a million different ways we could answer that, different ways that could play out for us. But in a practical sense, are you preparing your life in such a way that if God moved, you'd be ready? Because I think sometimes that's where we are in the waiting. God's going, I've got something bigger. I've got something grander. I've got something different, but I don't think you're ready for it. That's not always the case. Sometimes God has his own kingdom agenda, and we just submit to it and go, hey, but that's okay, God. Even if you don't, I'm going to prepare, and if you don't, I'm still going to worship you. But God, I'm also going to believe more, and I'm going to show my faith by the way that I prepare for the way that you're going to answer. Does that make sense? Let's pray.